Thanks, Quantum. Hey guys, welcome to F2 Round 2 here at Japan. Yes, Quantum coming in clutch there, thank you very much. We're just following the heat in this outlet. It's Fridays, it's fine, who cares? Only the most professional streams here. Oh, it's very interesting sort of rev glitch there. Let's see if I can just fix that really quickly. Just alt-tab that. Okay, that's weird. Is it happening for other cars? Wow, okay. Well, let's just follow them here for now. That sounds good. There we go. Yellow flag in sector 1. That looks like a car off. Is that... Let's see if I can find it. Is that Keeper? Yeah, that is. He's rejoined though. No big deal. Oh god, that is going to get old very quickly. But we'll follow a heat here. First one to start his lap. He's coming down towards 130R and we'll have a lap of this wonderful track. So he's showing very good pace in the last F2 race, the last race of the season as well, qualifying second in Brazil, the last season that is. And here he comes down the straight, started his first flying lap. Drivers will be out for one run, but they'll do as many laps as they can. After they've done their run, they will finish, and they'll just retire from the session. As we see Wahid taking it nice and easy for this first turn. And now through the S's here, we'll be very careful. These cars can also really just lose it very easily as they come through the S's here, like Wahid has almost. Nice and tidy so far though. Now for this super fast right-hander that is usually, he slowed right down for it though. Avoiding the curb on the inside, keeping it nice and clean. After this hairpin that always feels too damn slow. Never feels like you do it correctly, but just do it clean and it's probably fine. That's how I approach it. Now for a 200R, I spun here once and Kunai said, I have no idea how you spun here. I'm probably the only person to turn. A little of a leg spike in my end, all good though. And now for a spoon, one of the most iconic turns in F1. Top 5 at least. Mounting the curb as he comes down this back straight towards 130R. You can take 130R flat. It should be flat, let's see what he does. And he does lift here, perhaps his first lap around. And now into the last chicane, and we'll see what time he sets as a benchmark. Okay, well, without a doubt, just keep going here. This game's not agreeing with me tonight as he sets a 141.8 provisional pole, and that will... Plenty of spikes tonight, guys. Sorry about that. Psycho sitting at 141.9 in the Trident. Next person would have... Who's that next on track? I believe that is Ali. And that's a 42 flat. Yeah, a few laps starting to roll in now. Let's hop on to T-Mac here. He's just coming through 130R now. Oh, one of the F2s there. Just, I believe that's a Univirtuosi there. Just getting out of the way for him. It's like a nice wee banker lap here for T-Mac. Yep, 41.7, and that's going to put him on pole. Great lap there from him. Let's see if we can jump on somebody who's just doing another lap now. I think Ali. Yeah, here we go. Coming through second deck now. There we go. And Mika's retired. Oh, where is that? That is... And lights is off as well. It's not the driver I wanted, but it looks like Mika's just retired. Is it the second deck now? Let's see if I can see it. On the left here, yep. Not sure if he's crashed or not, but that's him out. At least he set a lap. Are they allowed to pit? So in qualifying, they're just going to do one run on these tyres. They can do as many laps as they want, but after they've done their stint on these tyres, they have to retire pretty much. More times rolling in. Big Al got a 41.2. Lick got a 41.7. Psycho for 41 flat. The track evolving ever so slightly for these drivers. Band's up 7 tenths coming through 130R. Only just lifting there. Band obviously in Mazepin's old F2 car. Last corner now keeping it clean. And that's a 41.8. That's good for 6th place currently. A few drivers retiring all over the track here. Ali, Wahid, Trin hasn't set a lap. Wow. And now it's Big Al as well. Batemate set a 41 flat as well. Very close to Psycho. Some great times rolling in. I believe Potsy's about to start his lap in the BWT Ardern. We'll follow him for a lap here. We're in this wonderful track. Potsy, very good pace. Is the points lead in the championship after the first round. Quantum Effect joining as well. Good to see a nice big grid for these races actually. Just tiptoeing through the yeses here. These cars are a pain to drive with a lot of understeer in them, but they're always going to be slower, but if you can get them right. Oh, that's T-Mac, that's off. Is that him there actually? I think that was. Comes up to the first deck now. Very easy to mess up, takes a lot of curb on the inside, nearly goes too wide. I think, did he go too wide? No, I don't think he did. Now for the hairpin. Again, always feels too slow. But he's done that pretty well. Yeah, most drivers have retired now. Psycho and Band are still on laps, and Keeper combined with a couple of drivers getting out the way for Potsy here. Still a few people yet to set a lap. That'll be in their best interests. Band retiring. Potsy now coming down 130R, not lifting it all, keeping it in. He's invalidated because of it. That's okay though, he can go for another one. And we're joined now by Mikkel. How are you doing tonight?
G'day everybody. How are you all? I'm doing well. Oh, Jacob, how are you? How about you? How are we feeling on Suzuka here tonight?
Oh, it's lovely. I mean, we always get a few incidents, so it can be a bit trainy sometimes, but F2s, they always throw us something interesting, especially on this track where Potsy nearly loses it. Most drivers now have just finished their laps, still a few people trying to get their laps set up now. We're just watching Potsy try to get one on board now.
Yeah, Suzuka is definitely a circuit where there is very little room for error. Lots of curbs that are very unforgiving. You know, common ones being the curb at Dunlop turn 7, which is that long sort of uphill left-hander at the end of the S's. Another one that can catch quite a few people out. What used to be the bump at the last corner, but actually, if you take the Casio triangle the wrong way, it can spit you out as well. And can't forget the two Degners as well after the S's.
Notorious they are. And I just want to clarify something really quickly. So in first place, around the F1, who's one of our new drivers, just racing in the Friday series tonight, getting a feel for how he is, but he set the fastest lap, 41.003, so great time from him there.
Yeah, it's nice to see some new fresh talent coming in. Maybe you know, if they partake in the F1 series at some point as a reserve driver, or if something were to happen and take up a full-time seat, you know, definitely push and really challenge the front runners there.
Indeed. And we just saw Potsy not take the wee bend on the back straight and just crash into the wall. So that's his way of saying he's done. And he'll start in 18th.
It's the old saying, right? I don't know if anyone has seen the movie Cars, right? I was watching it last night actually. Reasons we won't get into, but it's the old turn right to go left. And I think Potsy, demonstrated that quite well. Actually.
Yeah, it's a cult classic. You can't be ashamed of watching that. No, that's a good movie. I reckon it's a good movie. Anyway.
Oh, my favourite movie growing up though. Favourite, absolute classic.
Anyway, two drivers yet to set laps, still lapping the track. Combined YouTuber, he's on the back straight currently, also lights a bit further back, but we'll watch combined. Only F1 just getting out of the way for him there. Still limping around the track. But Combined coming for the Casio triangle now. Can really ride some of these curbs sometimes, but he's keeping clear of that first one. Yeah, he can really ride that second one. Let's see what time he gets here. That's a 40.7! That puts him on pole. It's a great lap from him. And we'll just watch Lights as he wraps up his lap. He's just on spoon currently.
Some temporary technical issues.
No worries. We're just watching Lights just finish up his lap. Keeps it flat for 130. Yeah, that works out. Perfect. Good. I wasn't worried at all. Now for Casio. Get nice and deep and then just ride that second curve on the inside. Oh, and he's gone the wrong way. That was very odd. He was turning right, then he was turning left, like described earlier. Wow. Or was that a bug on my end? Because he just said a 148. I'm not sure. Wheel disconnect. Okay. Good thing he's in chat.
Yes, that could be. Without that little bit of information, that could look very odd. You have two McQueens, it would seem.
Yeah, no, he was just turning right, then it just snapped left, so that's exactly what it looked like. No. And he'll have damage more than likely, so I think he's probably just going to have to retire.
Yeah, meanwhile, Combined going to the top of the timing sheets for 1 minute 40.7 from what I'm seeing, so with Potsy starting at the back of things, unfortunately he isn't going for that perfect season. But, Combined, they're very strong performance from him. And it's a strong performance again from Psycho. Psycho's they're starting on the second row of the grid. I'm very impressed with him so far in the series. Yeah,
he wasn't doing more than 43s in time trial when he was practicing earlier. I was with a few of the drivers when they were practicing beforehand. And Geordie was in here with us, and he set the world record in time trial. He did a 39.7, and then he just said, "Oh, I'm off to the pub." He didn't race tonight. Just like, oh, okay, then sweet that's.
He just wanted to assert his dominance. He's like, if I was here,
exactly.
I'd be spanking all of you.
So Lights is just still lapping the track. It doesn't have damage on my end, so he's sort of been jumping a little bit for me. I don't know if that's an issue on my end or if it's, but he's still lapping.
Well, I'm sure he'll come in chat and correct you if you're wrong. I'm having troubles with this amazing game currently, so I'm not quite in the session just yet. But I'm hoping to get in there very soon. Yeah,
that's why we haven't started our Season 7 just yet, guys. But that will start next Sunday, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, Bahrain scheduled for the 8th of August. Starting... do we not have Tier 3 getting streamed yet?
Not yet. We're going to leave it for the first few weeks and...
not yet.
Yeah,
well,
we might open up later.
I'm sure if you join the Discord, there'll be plenty of drivers streaming their own personal points of view. So Tier 3, I believe, lights out at 5:30 Australian Eastern, and then we have the usual Tier 1, Tier 2 streams, just like we all know and love, with Tier 1 at 7, and then Tier 2 at 8:30, those times in Australian Eastern Standard Times.
Yep, so just quickly the results here. Combined, taking pole in 4 points for 140.7, only F1, Psycho, Bait and Ali top 5, Big L, T-Mac, Lick, Band and Wahid, all top 10, all a 41 and below. And then looking further back, we've got Nemo for 42, 3 and 11th, Keeper, Mika, Lights, Ando, and Trin, Quantum and Potsy, not setting any times. So interesting there. Potsy did have a couple of runs, but just couldn't get a lap together, unfortunately. I'm sure he can make short work of the grid here.
We'll just have to see what happens. We saw how dominant he was in Azerbaijan last week. So definitely a very capable driver. We know this from both last week in the F2 series, as well as previous F2 series, and of course being a AFR Tier 1 World Champion.
just gonna sneak that in there as well.
Well, you can't take that off his credential list. He had a very a very solid title fight with Matt Cadabry.
Yeah, I think he runs under the radar a little bit. Yeah, for as good a driver as he is.
Well, I'm glad to let you know, Jacob, that I am now with you in this session, so I can actually see sort of what's going on.
Woohoo! As they go around the formation lap now, warming up their tyres. 15 laps, feature race.
One of the Dreamers, thinking that's the race start. That was Wahid.
And
I
only
think
if
it was the race
one
start.
has hit somebody else as well. I'm not sure what
Yeah,
happened because that's only
combined.
him.
So our two front row,
The
front row
front row.
sitters are now disqualified. Are going to have frigid tires off the race start. So Psycho could very well lead them away into turn one. And that, as a good mate of Psycho's, of course, those of you who might not be aware, he is my Pete Bonington, my race engineer for the Tier 1 series. A massive help to me. Good mate of mine. And he's been on the up. So I think this will be one of his first times leading a formation lap, Jacob. So we'll see how he handles with the pressure. But getting back to my point, he can very well be leading this grid into turn one.
Yeah, very easily. And he's certainly got the pace. He's showing it. Got 15 laps around here. These guys will have to do a mandatory pit stop. Now that's after the first 3 laps and not during a virtual safety car. They have to have one tyre. So they have to run both compounds of tyres, I believe.
Yes, so in the feature race, they will need to run both the prime and the option tyre. I choose to call them that for the F2 series because there only are 2 tyre compounds and they mix and match depending on what track we're at. So all these guys starting the softs, which I do believe is the option tyre for this track, they'll have to go to the mediums at some point, but they need to switch to that medium compound after the first 3 laps of the race, otherwise they will not meet the mandatory pit stop requirement for this 15 lap sprint race, Jacob.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Drivers coming around to the Casio triangle now. Grid up and start this wonderful race here. Fair few shadows, some long shadows on this track. It's a bit later, I presume. Oh, that is Big Al heading T-Mac. However, they should have their tyres warmed up. Yep, there we go. It's a wonderful shot, gang. Give me something better. There we go.
Here we go. Psycho taking his place on that second row. Of course, the 2 front runners going to have 0 temperature in the tyres, just like a couple of others. See that Big Al and T-Mac have been disqualified as well as Wahey. I think it was the race start. But Jacob, take us on this race start if you please. It's Potsy now in his grid slot.
Alrighty. Just waiting for everybody to just stop. There we go. Good, good. Alright. 5 red lights here. And away they go, and one of the Carlins has had an awful start. They're getting swallowed up. See one of the different choices. Oh, and that a lot of movement down the back. Combine's taken this lead pretty comfortably here. Psycho trailing. Ali in third place. Looks relatively clean behind though. Everyone's keeping a line of stern. Bait just taking lick going into the S's.
Look, I just want to point everyone's attention. If you change the little details to the positions gained on stream, Jacob. Trin and Potsy up 5 and 6 places respectively. We haven't even reached the end of the first sector yet. All these guys now coming through that dreaded turn 7 Dunlop corner. I'm currently riding on board with Trin. It looks like only F1 and T-Mac about to go 2 abreast into the first deck. Now that's a very, very risky deep contact. And now Trin round the outside of the, I believe it's an MP Motorsport car of Lights. Lights getting a horrible run. Now Trin and Potsy now up to 10th and 11th place respectively. Massive dive there from T-Mac trying to maybe go up the side. Actually, that might be Lick as well, but it looks like for the 2 Trident cars, well actually not the 2 Trident cars, the Charouz Racing have combined YouTube away, a very decent gap between himself and Psycho up at the front, but the 2 Malaysian brothers, Ali and Big Al, in 3rd and 4th respectively for the 2 Dams cars.
Yeah, everyone's keeping it pretty clean this lap. It's good to see. Band's also up 4 spots in that first sector as well. Just seeing a bit of movement down back. Lights is dropping right down. I think he just got a bad run out of Spoon. And that's him down the 15th. He's got some work to do.
Oh, Quantum Effect now inside of 130. Has to back out of it. But this fight for 12th place is really starting to shape up as Bandcamp and Baitmate also going side by side as someone started off. It's only F1. 3 seconds now for multiple warnings on this first lap. Yellow flags in sector 3 at the Casio Triangle, Jacob. And it's been quite a hectic start for most of these guys on this grid.
Crazy.
But combined, it's a perfect start for him.
He was dropping down on my end. That's just the game bugging out. He is still in first place. He's done the 16th on here though. No, he's had a really good start. Same for Psycho. They've just sort of run away. Ali is right on Psycho. But for now, he's holding him.
Look at this fight for 6th, Jacob. Wow. Trin Potsy now going, sort of side by side through the S section. Potsy trying to fight his way around the outside. T-Max trying to get his nose in there as well. Now coming up through turn 7 they go. Potsy getting a little bit out of shape there. Losing the rear twice coming through Dunlop corner. T-Max right on his gearbox, Jacob, but just can't quite find the gap that he needs. Maybe into the second deck now? No, not quite.
No, he's all over him. I'm sure he could that move done up further ahead. Is that Ali trying to make a move on Psycho? They both spin out into the hairpin! And then Ali's lost some wing there. I think Psycho's fine, but they're going to lose a lot of spots here, Mikhail. This is awful for them.
Yeah, of course, no ghosting in these sessions, so they have to wait for the entire grid to go through, and they're both looking like they're in a very, very solid position there, Jacob. So very unfortunate to see both of them drop to the back of this order, but that's probably news to Combine's ears. Well, music to Combine's ears, I should say, because he now has well over a second's gap on that the track map, despite what the timing tower would say.
Yeah.
So he is looking like he's in a very dominant position right now.
Yeah, you could just see the gap there. It was a good couple of seconds at least. There's going to be no DRS as well.
Fight for fifth, Jacob. This is all going sudden. Sorry, I just cut you off there, but Lick goes deep into the Casio. That's 3 wide here, Jacob.
That's insane stuff there. Potsy and Lick still side by side. Lick just getting a bit out of shape there. He has to fall behind. So Lick will just take 6 and Trent's right behind and 7. DRS is now enabled for the next time around. Well, he's retired, and that's it at the Casio Triangle.
Yeah, as well as Potsy going up the inside just before the virtual safety car was deployed. I think he had his nose ahead into turn 1. So Potsy now up to 4th place after 3 laps. But yes, oh, actually, no, maybe. Does he have to let Bam through? I think he maybe just mistimed that.
It's a bit unfortunate.
So a bit unfortunate. Yeah, unfortunate for Potsy, but more unfortunate for Whitehead as well. But this does give, looks like Ali in the pits, getting that front wing replaced, putting on a fresh set of soft tyres that he will need to pit again. I saw someone in the chat asking about the pit stop requirements. So after this virtual safety car is lifted, all these drivers will need to pit onto the medium compound tyres if they want to be classified in this race. But you can't do it under the virtual safety car, and you cannot do it in the first 3 laps of the race for the pit stop to count. Of course, you can still come into fixed damage, just like Ali has done down in 17th place, but you will need to pit again if that's when you make your pit stop.
Yeah, and that's good timing for him because it gives him a slightly cheaper pit stop in this case. Everybody is still lapping the track pretty slowly, so he loses less time in this pit stop, basically. He's still pretty far behind, and he gets a drive-through for speeding under the virtual safety car.
It's like his poor luck continues, but look at this battle for 4th place. Potsy, he thought he had the position on band before. Now he's definitely going to go looking around the outside for 130R. This could get very spicy. T-Mac and Trin going at it as well for 7th, right behind them, but Potsy around the outside, clean before the apex of the corner, and now Lick in that, I believe that is the Premier car of Robert Schwartzman. Ooh, very, very deep there from Bandcamp. A very, very nice defense from the Dragon himself, but he's got a very angry train of cars behind him, Jacob.
That's a
and all of them have DRS.
That's a massive train, yeah. There's a good 6 or 7 cars there just lining up, and I believe that is Lick trying to have another go here.
Gets Trin as well.
And Trin
as well.
Where did you come from? Well, he's in.
Yeah, Trin following him through. Now T-Max can't quite follow his mate through, but it looks like Nemo and only F1 trying to get back in this. Only F1 actually has damage on that left-hand side. Nemo's off! Nemo's off, and I believe that's turn 4. He has the S's. He's facing the barrier. He's still got the engine running. He's still not out of this race, but yeah, that was very, very bad indeed.
Yeah, that's not going to help things. Ali getting 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. It's just, when it rains and pours, I suppose, but I'm sure he'll be looking towards the sprint race now. Baymate rejoining. I guess he disconnected at some point and we missed it. Is ghosting on or off for Friday series? I believe it's off. I think
it's off for everything now.
Yeah, I think they've turned off everything. I was just going to point out, yeah, the gap between Combined and Big Al, that's come down a little bit, and Big Al is threatening to get in the DRS range, but he's just picked up 3 seconds as I switched to him. It's typical.
He's definitely been pushing, but speaking of gaps that are closing up, look at this one, Bandcamp, right, under so much pressure from teammate behind him. We have yellow flags through the entire track, apparently. Nemo has now retired in the pit lane, but now T-Mac, he's going to try and do what Potsy did before, as well as the fight ahead of them as well. Trin and Lick going side by side into there. We have a virtual safety car just at the least best time for T-Mac.
Yeah, I'm wondering what caused that. I thought Ali was going slow, but he's got no damage. Everybody else is going at a decent pace, so I'm wondering if it was Nemo's retirement, or because everybody else is running fine. That's very odd.
Certainly is a possibility. Of course, we I do believe that Gus wanted to test how retiring, well, the consequences of retiring in the pit lane, and it seems, it could bring out a virtual safety car. I don't think it'll go anywhere past, excuse me, a virtual safety car.
No.
I'd be very surprised if it did.
It was very delayed though. It was very odd. Anyway, lap 5 of 15.
Yeah, so a third of the way through this feature race. Of course, the points scheme, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with the F2 format, same as you would for F1, so our race winner will get 25 points, and then 18 for second, 15 for third, all the way down to 1 point for 10th place, which currently is lights. But unlike F1, Jacob, it's 2 points for fastest lap instead of just the 1. And if I have a look, it is our race leader combined YouTuber currently with the fastest lap of the race so far, with a 1 minute 43.269 as DRS now re-enabled. We're green flag racing again.
Yeah, having all that clean air does help. Look down in 5th place here. He's having a decent look at Bate. Just didn't have a good exit coming out of the hairpin as VEC was lifted, but I'm sure Luck will be lining up a move pretty soon. But yeah, some drivers here just looking to get a move on here because T-Mac is also behind Band. Let's see what happens coming out of Spoon here.
Yes, I'm just riding on board with Lick as he makes his way through the Spoon curve towards 130R. Yellow flag. Looks like Ali having another spin, this time at turn 2. But look at the slipstream from the Prema on that Carlin car. He has to lift through 130R. Of course, with that wash of dirty air, even though it's a lot less than the F1 cars, it's still quite substantial at high speeds. Only F1 now picking up a 3-second time penalty as we have Bateman. He blinks into the pit lane, as does Trin. Van stays out. T-Mac as well staying out. Only F1. Lots of guys coming into the pits. Quantum Keeper as well. Yellow flag sector 3 as well. We have another spinner. That's Mika.
Oh, that's Mika. Yeah, and he's pointing the wrong way. He'll be able to come to the pits. Does he have damage? Doesn't look like it. So I think he might have gone the way, but he's lost a bit of time. A lot of drivers in the pits, obviously, going onto the harder compounded tyres. These guys are doing a bit of an overcut, or staying out, or maybe they've been caught out by an undercut, but staying out on the softer compound can work sometimes. People with good pace, Big Al, he's within a second of Combined, you know. Combined as well has got good pace, he can just stay out until he needs to come in, really. Doesn't have to react straight away, Mikhail.
Well, typically, because of the lack of tyre blankets in the F2 series, the overcut tends to be quite powerful, as Band getting really out of shape between the two Degners, trying to hold on to that 6th place as best he can, but only F1. I think he's got the run. He might have a look into the hairpin. Band defends to the inside. Oh, there's contact. There's contact between two of them. Lights has gone into only F1.
Yeah, I don't think only F1
of his wing.
I'm sorry about that. I don't think only F1 saw Lights coming up on the outside and just turned in on him. That was pretty unfortunate for both of them, though. I think both of them got damage. I know Lights did. Yeah, and seemed to... Yeah, wow.
Yeah, he's now... Only F1 has even more damage on that left-hand side. He was already carrying a missing end plate from the opening few laps, but now it's just become even more worse. But look at the front of things, Jacob. Big Al has really just completely munched up that gap that Combined had early in the race, but I do suspect that they will both be pitting very soon, and yes, they both come into the pit straight away, so it's a battle of the pit crews now.
Yes, both of them were wanting to go into those harder compounds. Potsy staying out. Let's switch the tyres here. Yeah, so everyone else going on to mediums. Yeah, the harder compound here. Lights picking up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Harder to pull up these cars with damage. Who's that? It's Spoon.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at this battle for 11th as well from the blinkers, if you want to call them that. Trin and Batemate going at it into the Casio Triangle. Trin's got such a better run, and now with that run, maybe he's gotten those tyres up to temperature. Of course, the two leaders will be coming out with very cold tyres. Where is this going to put Trin and Batemate respectively? It's going to be very, very high up the order. It's now a net 3rd place for the, I do believe that's the UNI Virtuosi car of Calamilot. So the undercut has worked quite well. T-Mac about 3 seconds behind them. Bandcamp as well coming out of the pits. But these front two, I don't know if it's quite worked out for them. They'll have their tyres a little bit fresher. But Trin definitely has the pace to catch up if he really rings that car as much as he can.
Yes, all Sector 1 yellow flag. Is that Andercat? Yep, that's him spun on the S's. He's stuck in the gravel. Needs to make a nice clean rejoin. Is that Lights as well? Lights spinning as well! And Mika, no wing there! Something else has happened there. Totally different. And that's both ARTs. of some very horrendous moments there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see both of them having struggles like they did last week out in Baku. But I'm just looking at the little gaps on this timing tower. Bait isn't letting Trin go too far away from him. Keeper falling a little bit now behind, only have one lick. 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. As we have the last of the pitters with Psycho coming in now. So combined, still in the lead of things, but he has within that, well, he has Big L within his DRS window. Trin falling back a little bit now, 3.7. So he's dropped back to a few tenths from our front two, but Bait Mate still keeping him very honest there, Jacob.
Yes, Psycho picked up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane there. That's really going to hurt him. He was one of the front runners. I'm just on board with Combined, and it looks like he'll take the lead pretty comfortably there. So him and Big L will take first and second back. Podsy will pop out in third, and Trin in fourth there.
Yeah, Potsy doing very well with himself, just trying to stay out of trouble. That's what he does best. That's what he's so good at. And just being consistent lap after lap, race to race. Very rarely makes those large mistakes. He normally has a few little slides of the rear here and there, but he's, he's skilled enough, he's experienced enough to really know how to catch it and control that car. Really getting very audacious with the curves of the exit of turn 7. But Trin, new fastest lap. I don't know if you saw that come out. That's Potsy! Oh! Commentator's curse, maybe 3 seconds.
Very unfortunate there. So yeah, Trin picked up a 143.002. That's 2 tenths better than any other lap from these drivers. Most people are in the 43s right now. Well, a few of them are. Most are in the 44s actually. Just
5 tenths. 5 tenths, Jacob.
5 tenths between Combined and Big L. And Big L's been on Combined this whole race. He's really closed up their gap from the start. Where after Ali and Psycho had their wee moment, Big L's really reeled him in. And now
oh, look at the slip. Just look at the gap. The interval just come down. Combined makes a mistake. Really just misses that apex by a country mile. And that has gained Big L yet another tenth. He goes a little bit deeper to the Cassia Triangle. That's going to compromise his run out of the complex. That might have saved Combined's bacon there. But we have a retirement. That's T-Mac. He's out of this race.
Oh no, that is just coming into Casio as well. That's a very odd place to lose. And it's a safety car. Wow.
Full course caution. The safety car has been deployed.
That's a very odd spot. He's parked on the inside of Casio before the first turn.
How has he managed that?
That's incredible. He must. It can't have been deliberate. I'm not sure, but this won't
even if it was, how did he? Like, just no, I'm not saying it is in any way, shape, or form. But even if it was, how does this car end up there? I've seen cars on the left-hand side going into Casio Triangle, especially, going wheel to wheel, maybe like a wheel bang, and then, one of the cars gets pushed onto the grass and then can't control it. But he's on the right-hand side of, like, that little slip road before the Casio Triangle.
It looks like a spot where the AI would run off when they retire from the session. But usually when people lose it for 130R, they sort of spin off into the left side wall or something, or keep going straight. So that's, like you say, very odd. A couple of drivers are actually jumping on this opportunity to pit. Lights and Ando coming in for softs, and I'm assuming these are the scrubbed ones from Quali.
Well, yeah, they would have to be. I mean, they're not going to put on those basically dead softs they used at the start of the race. I mean, I really respect this decision that both Lights and Nando are going for. They really don't have anything to lose. So, and if, everything to gain. If those tires get fired up a lot faster than the mediums, so I'm not entirely sure on the delta between the two tire compounds, but it is at least 4 tenths. So if they're able to really, play their cards right, they could be on for some fringe points. So we'll have to keep an eye on them and see how they go. Looks like Ali is going to do just the same. But this safety car has really destroyed the race for all these guys with penalties. You can see with the black and white flags next to the name of the timing tower. So even though combined, that he does have Big Al right up his gearbox. Actually, he's coming into the pits.
Oh, that's a big move.
I don't know about that one.
I think he's just throwing it away there.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but I don't agree with this one. Especially coming from the race. He was a comfortable 3 seconds, right? Because the only other driver without a penalty in the top 5 was Trin. And now Combined has it all to do. He's going to come out, what, 10th? 11th? it's a slow pit lane because we're down to that 60 kilometers an hour keeper coming in.
Yeah.
So it will be 10th for combined YouTuber, our race leader since lap 1, turn 1. He was on pole position, and even with those cold tires was able to get away from Psycho. 5 laps from the end, I think he's just thrown this away, Jacob.
I think he has, because even if the softs are that much quicker, he does not have much time to work his way through 9 other cars. It just seems impossible. I mean, I never say never, of course, but it's a good call if everybody else does it. But the thing is, nobody else has done it here, so there's no point in pitting here. You may as well just stay out.
Well, even if everyone else behind him pit, Jacob, and he stayed out on those mediums have only done a couple of laps, and, you know, they might be scrubbed in a little bit slower, but he still has that 3-second buffer. I don't know what his warning situation is like. Might have a look at that now as I'm talking. He's got one warning. He got one warning on lap 6. So he has at least one other warning left before he gets a 3-second time penalty. And his main competitors in Big Al and Potsy, and even, you know, Batemate and Lick as well, all had the 3-second time penalties as well. So it was really just Trin, and Trin would have to get through both Potsy and Big Al. As it looks like Ali tried to unlap himself and, well...
Just gets a drive through.
Trin did at Singapore.
Oh, there we go. There's the disqualification. There we go. So, don't forget the penalties as well. So Trin and Band are in a really good spot here to actually get a really good finish. They're the 2 main runners that don't have any penalties. Big Al and Potsy have 3 seconds, Batemate and Lick have 5. Psycho Quantum only have 1, 5, 3 and 6, and Keeple with 5 as well. The guys who pitted earliest, Lights and Ando, they don't have any penalties, so they could actually get a few spots and get some good points here as well. So it'd be very interesting to see how this plays out. Looks like we'll get a few laps on the green here. This should be the last lap on the safety car.
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, lap 11 of 15, there's always at least 2 laps of green flag running, so theoretically it could go around yet again, although I wouldn't be too impressed with the stewards if they decided to do that. And another driver who wouldn't be impressed with the stewards would be Combined, because that gives them even less time to try and recover some positions from what I feel personally was a big miscall going into the pits there.
Yeah, he would have been under all sorts of pressure at the start, but I'm sure he would have been able to give it his best there. I mean, he did hold Big Al at bay for a fair bit of that race, and he did close up that 2-3 second gap at the start as well, so I mean, it's intense pressure there, but again,
well, here's the thing, Jake.
Yep.
Here's the thing. You know, worst case, you know, if everyone pits for softs, safety car, you know, comes in about 3 laps remaining. Worst case, the Combined finishes, I think, is second. Only to Trin. Trin was the only driver that could realistically, if he had those soft compound tires, catch and maybe pass Combined, of course, with the penalties as well. Now, Combined's put it all on himself, and I think the best that he can really get is maybe a 6th. And even then, that's quite a tall ask. That's overtaking 4 cars in what will be 3 laps, where there isn't really much room for overtaking. Like, what, you have turn 1 if you're very audacious. We've seen drivers do it into the Casio. We've seen drivers, you know, the hairpin as well is another opportunity. But anywhere else, you're putting a lot of faith in the driver right in front of you to give you the room and let you sort of run side by side and get past. And, you know, in these fringe points positions, and as well as that sprint race pole for 8th place, because we do reverse the top 8 for the sprint race after this, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't see that happening. Yeah,
and the first 3 cars he has to overtake, they don't matter because they've got penalties. So he has to overtake Band before he can even get a place, basically. So he's going to be under it. But it looks like we're going around for another lap here. I'm pretty surprised at this.
Well, that just makes it even worse for all these soft runners.
Wow.
To be honest, that's 1 less lap, 3 less opportunities, if you will, to pass cars, and we're all waiting for this ART of Mika to catch back up. He's some 20 seconds behind his teammate, so the 2 ARTs not having a good time whatsoever. But Trin's going to be loving this right now.
Yeah, these ARTs are lucky to be back in it, and Trin, obviously he's in a good spot. The safety car being out for 1 more lap is going to hurt the soft guys more than the mediums. It's a touch more wear, it's a touch more important for these soft runners. These medium guys, obviously, and the soft, they will be fine for wear, obviously, but the soft runners just won't be able to get as much. Oh, that's Lights spinning.
Yeah, Lights has had an issue.
As he got no damage there, so he can just catch back up, no issues, but he's lost a place there.
Yeah, he's also placed Cat, and I think he's got a bit of gravel on his tyres, but should be able to get rid of that. He hasn't also placed Tamika, but there you go, just catches right back up to the safety car queue, and he hasn't really, well, he's lost one position, but realistically he hasn't really lost anything, because it's going to be tough to get some points. The only thing, we've been talking about Combine and how much of a misplay this pit stop has been. The only thing that's saving him right now is all the penalties on this grid.
Oh, and speaking of penalties, that's Ando and Lights. It's getting a few 5 seconds there. There was a collision there, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it. Let's see if there's any damage. I don't see any visible damage
No, neither.
on that MP Motorsport car that Lights is driving. But safety car will be in this lap, so we'll have laps 13, 14, and 15 on the green flag. So we'll have 1 lap of DRS, and I think all eyes are going to be on the Shrews racing car being driven by Combined YouTuber to see how far he's able to make up on this grid in a 3-lap sprint to the end of this F2 feature race. Jacob, take us away.
3 laps here. Big Al slowing the grid right down. I'm on board with Potsy here just to see what sort of a start he gets. Combined and Keeper having a collision.
There we go.
And that's ruined it. There we go. And he won't be happy with Keeper. I'm assuming Keeper just ran into him there. That's very unfortunate. Still on board with Potsy though. Big Al hasn't pulled the trigger yet. And there we go. He goes just out of Casio, keeping it very simple. And he's made a nice gap to Potsy here as we go under green flag conditions once again. It looks like nobody's gained a substantial run on anybody else. Lick is relatively close to debate, but not close enough to try anything.
Nando's gaining on Keeper as well. It's not quite close enough for a dive, I don't think, but the gap's going to get to just above a 1/10.5. It looks like, look at the grip that Ando's got in that ART car compared to Keeper, just the superior line, but it isn't going to quite be enough. Meanwhile, Potsy putting Al under all sorts of pressure, but Trin, as one of the only drivers on this group without a penalty, just needs to keep it clean and stay with them. Band as well, and Band is having a little bit of a tough time doing that. He's already fallen back outside of that 1 second range, and with the top 2 only having 3 seconds worth of penalties, if he wants this runners-up spot, he's going to have to really get it together on these final few laps. But Lick all over the back of Mate Jacob.
Yes, Lick right on coming into the hairpin. He goes out for a wee look, but doesn't. Oh, he's very much looking, but he can't quite get alongside. No, Band didn't really get the best start. He was down a second coming into the first turn, and he hasn't really shown amazing race pace this race, but he's sort of fallen backwards a little bit. But Trin, he needs to hold that 3-second gap. That's the main thing.
I don't think we should be speaking about Trin. I think we should be speaking about Potsy. 1.5 tenths out of Spoon. This is going to be the slipstream. Does he go for the movement to 130R? Lights and Ando going for an exchange as well behind them as well. Now side by side, the 2 leaders going into 130R, and it is the pink BWT Race Lab car that gets ahead, but Big Al's coming back. He has looked to the outside of the Casio. Potsy has to go defensive. Can Al find the run that he needs? Coming out of turn 17, now into 18. Potsy sliding the rear a little bit, but is it going to quite be enough? I don't think it has, Jacob. But Potsy is in the lead of things on the penultimate lap of this race, but he still has that 3-second time penalty.
It's a very exciting battle there down at the Casio Triangle from those two. Looks like a bit of jostling down back, and only F1 and Keeper have both gone off on the last turn there. And they're just sort of crawling around. I think they've sorted each other out. But only F1 down to 14th place now. Not too sure what happened there, but looking further ahead, Mika, one of the other drivers with no pens, he's still down in 12th, but he could get some positions from the penalties ahead. Band still in a good spot in 6th, and Trin, well, he's still on these 2 for first place.
And meanwhile, Combined has only been able to make up a couple of positions, or I think just one. He's in 9th place, some 2.7 seconds away from Quantum. But it's safe to say that his race is well and truly over. He's got some wing damage as well. Very unfortunate to see. But, Psycho's right in it as well. Now back up into 7th place. Remember what happened to him in the opening lap with, I think it's the opening 2 laps, or the 2nd lap actually, with himself and Ali. So very nice recovery from him utilizing that safety car. But the closest gap on this grid, if my eyes aren't deceiving me, is for the runners-up spot at the moment, Jacob.
Yes, Trin. He actually just got a bad exit out of Spoon compared to Big Al, but he was 4 or 5 tenths behind him, and now it's about 7. And yellow flag in sector 2, that is Keeper. Yep. Having a Keeper moment. Trin now just staying right on Big Al.
Very late on the brakes, Jacob. Very late on the brakes. Misses the apex of 16 just a little bit. Potsy, fastest lap, 142.0, utilizing that clean air. He could actually, he could win this race.
He very much could.
Trent is passed for clean air. It's going to be a time trial shootout between these two. Can Potsy pull now the 1.3 seconds gap he needs over Trent to make it a last to first in this feature race? Leave a prediction in the chat, guys. We want to know.
1.2 seconds. Potsy's good, but I can't call this one. I don't think.
Got 2 seconds gap now. It's growing. It's growing, Jacob. He's got 2 sectors to do it. Purple sector 1, 2.5 tenths up on his previous best is the Pink Panther.
And, wow,
tenths.
This is actually going to be very close. The game's bugging up for me in my end. It's saying that the race is done for Lights and Keeper. Not too sure what's going on there, but the leader is still yet to cross the line. Potsy 2.4 seconds ahead of Trend now. Potsy just coming around 200R into Spoon.
This exit's going to be crucial. This exit's going to be crucial for both of these drivers. Potsy sitting around that 2.4 now, 2.5 as they head into Spoon. Trend's now gotten his tyres on the curb. He's gotten a poor run out of Spoon. 2.6 going to now nearly 2.7. 3 tenths is the gap with us. 1 braking zone to go.
And Potsy nearly keeps it flat. Can't quite through 130R. Trend keeps his foot down. And Potsy, this is all about the triangle here.
1/10, Jacob. Can he do it? Can Trin find the exit that he needs? I think he has.
Wow.
It's 2 tenths, 141.5 for Potsy. It's not going to be enough by less than a tenth of a second.
Incredible. 9300 separate the first 2 runners. Big Al taking third. Band in 4th place. No penalties. Lick, Bait, Quantum, Psycho combined in 9th. And Ando taking out the last points place. Actually, Mika, I joked. No, that Mika gets 10th there.
Gonna have a quick look at the race director there. Potsy, a 141.511 on that last lap. Trin, a 1 minute 42.609. Potsy tried. He did all he could, but it just wasn't quite enough. And if Trin had any snap of wheel spin, any snap of oversteer at that Casio triangle, we would have a different racer on the head this evening.
Yeah, well-deserved driver of the day from Trin there. Really good lap there. Really held it together, I suppose. He was on all the tyres than Potsy as well. Potsy did a very good job there of getting that lap in, though. And I've accidentally skipped the podium. Oh, God. I always do this. I shouldn't be doing it for the stream. I have to apologise for that. But I'll run you through the results anyway. So Trin taking out that win, 25 points. From 16th to 1st, Potsy 18th to 2nd with the fastest lap as well. You'll grab another couple of points for that as well. Big Al in 3rd, Band, no pens, takes 4th place. Lick, Bait, Quantum, Psycho combined, and Mika round out the top 10. Psycho will be our pole sitter for the next race. Ando is in 11th place, followed by Only F1. Lights and Keeper lagging behind a little bit, and then T-Mac, Nemo, Wahid and Ali all with DNFs.
But Byron's weekend just goes from bad to worse. It was bad enough when he made that what was now, I think, clearly a misplay, throwing away the race win. But now he's starting 9th. He didn't even get the consolation of reverse grid pole. That honours goes to Psycho and the Trident. So now combined in 9th place, there's a lot of pace trapped in this grid. And combined there in 9th, we'll have our front 2 finishers of Potsy and Trin. Well, Trin and Potsy, I should say, in that order. Trin in 8th, Potsy in 7th. So a lot of pace trapped in this grid, Jacob. And no mandatory pit stops.
Oh, well, they came back from 18th and 16th as well as the thing. So considering most of that was done at the start, remember they got 5-6 places before the first sector even ended. So they could pretty easily just snap ahead and be in the first few spots.
Well, if they're able to do that again in the sprint race, well, one, props to them, but I think it'll be a pretty boring race at the front of things for us, Jacob.
We'll see what happens here. Drivers just about to
Can we get a stars in the chat, please? Is there a stars?
Stars.
You've been giving these guys lessons. Let's start these cars.
Is everybody coming off, start their formation lap? A bit cloudy. We didn't get a weather report, but I assume it's going to be dry. Band would normally tell us in chat otherwise, but...
Ben just does love the rain, doesn't he?
Ugh.
Always keen to tell us.
Anything that makes other people slower, I think is fine by him. So, the sprint race. Everybody will just be on the medium tyre. No pit stops are mandatory. They can just go to the end. We'll see what happens.
It's only 11 laps. So only 4 laps shorter than the feature race, which I find quite amusing. But it is Psycho and Quantum on the front row. Batemate and Lick on the second row. Bandcamp, Big Al, 5th and 6th. Potsy and 7th. Trin, our feature race winner, starts 8th. Combined, our feature race pole sitter in 9th. Then the 2 ARTs of Mika, followed by Edicat, 10th and 11th. Only F1 and 12th. Lights, 13th. Keeper, 14th. T-Mac down in 15th. Nemo, 16th. Wahid in 17th. And Ali rounds out our 18 car grid. Looks like Light's still having connection issues, so he's not currently in the session in 13th. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back in. Yep, just like Jacob was saying, ladies and gentlemen, no mandatory pit stops required. 11 laps from start to finish. Hopefully non-stop action here. And we'll see how quickly and how cleanly these, 7th, 8th, 9th, even Big Al there in 6th can make their way through the top 5.
Just had to tap out for a wee second. We're all good now. Yeah, a few movers are going to be on this grid. Interesting to see how some of these people with good pace will hold their spots. Psycho and Quantum, Bait and Lick, they've all got decent pace around here is the thing. But it's just seeing how they hold compared to the ones behind them that have really good paces. That's a car spun around there. I just caught that. I'm not sure who it was. But they've recovered it at least. That's the main thing. So
I think it was Ando and T-Max also in the gravel.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Turn 17. But they are now going under AI controls. They'll take their grid slots. But there's Psycho from that pole position now. 2 better than he started the feature race. Let's hope he's able to convert some very, very strong points here in this 11-lap sprint race. As Ali and Wahid are just about to take their grid slots. Jacob, I'll let you have the honours once again.
All good. So everybody just about gridded up here. There we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights here at Suzuka. And away we go slowly. The Carlin there getting a really good start. I believe that's Bait.
Oh, Bait, mate. Oh!
Just getting squeezed out. Tried to make a free wide. Has to go behind the 2 of them. Top 5 relatively clean. Lick trying to get on the outside. Bait here. Coming through turn 1. Still side by side coming through this. The Cyclone Bait also. Bait getting pushed out to nearly the grass. Lick making that move on band for 4th place.
Yeah, relatively clean start. Well, only F1's already up 4 places. Potsy is down 2. Combined now down 1 as well. In 10th place, Keeper's off in the gravel at turn 5 and 6. So very unfortunate there for him, but it looks like Trin and Big Al about to go side by side in the first Degner. No, not quite. But the second Degner, looks like Trin sticky his nose in there. Big Al has to leave in the room. Only F1 now, his teammate for this occasion. In the UNI Virtuosi car, looking up the inside of Trent. Potsy trying to find his way around the outside, follow him through. They go 2 by 2, going through the hairpin, but looks like Al's heading, ahead of them. Now trying to put Ben under some pressure, but it looks like Potsy inside of 200 are the lesser known of the 2 radii corners. Into the spoon they go. Pushed out a little bit wide as the race lab has contact again between the 2. A little bit of carbon fiber there flying off of the UNI Virtuosi car, I do believe. But it's 2 by 2 once again for these guys going into 130 as well as ahead of them. Psycho, Batemate, Lick as well. A bit later, early on the brakes, as Batemate, Lick has to really make sure he avoids them. All 2 cars they're going off the tracks. One of Dabs, one of Big Al. But Bandcamp now losing a position. And there's so many cars in this passenger triangle, I can't keep up.
Oh, it's no holds barred here. Big Al making the move on Trin there. Trin nearly getting pushed out. I think there's a bit of contact there.
Make it another one.
Potsy, yeah, he's looking on the inside of Big Al now. He really wants to hurry him along. Band's going on the inside of Lick here into turn 1. Has to back out as well. Potsy forced an issue on Big Al though. And they touch.
Contact.
And
Potsy being boxed in by all, I think it was 5 cars around him. Now side by side for only F1 and Big Al through the S's. Trin as well. Now trying to make his way past Big Al as well. Big Al has fallen like a stone in the matter of 4 corners.
pretty unfortunate. It was, again, very tight racing between all these drivers. Potsy is up to the 6 from all of that, though. And the scoreboard once again bugs out for us right now, but currently that is that Quantum up in the lead right now?
It is. Quantum's built a very nice gap indeed from Psycho behind him, who's still holding on to that runners-up spot as we speak. But he's got Baitmate right behind him.
Well, Potsy getting on the inside of Band here through the hairpin. Band still on the inside of 200R. That becomes the outside for Spoon if he wants to keep forcing the issue here. So let's see what Potsy does. A little bit later, and yep, he lets him through.
Yeah, didn't make that one too hard for the feature race runner-up. Of course, at that perfect weekend, there's one of the UNI Virtuosi cars in the gravel. That is only F1 gone extremely wide at the exit of Spoon. Now Maker's going to try and catch up that gap, but Baitmate and Psycho are about to get very close as well into the Casio Triangle. This is the battle for the runners-up spot at the moment, Jacob. Potsy and Lick not too far behind them. Psycho trying to hold on as best he can. Quantum's now built up a 2-second gap as well as he sets the fastest lap. Now, as we go into lap 3, Potsy now takes that fast lap. DRS enabled Keeper is out of this race at the Casio Triangle, and I do believe that's a virtual safety car just as Baitmate was about to make the move on Psycho into turn 1.
Just side by side, very unfortunate timing. Seems to have screwed over a lot of people this evening, this virtual safety car, but right now everybody's just got to slow down. They can have a wee breather after that sort of crazy couple of laps there, because that was just non-stop battling there from everybody. Good racing from everyone though, keeping it relatively clean.
Of course, we want to see hard, fair, clean racing. We don't want to see too much contact between all the drivers, and they've been able to put on a great show for us thus far. Let's hope it continues for the 8.5 laps to come, Jacob.
And if the rest of the race is going to be like this, then I'm not necessarily complaining. It's been pretty good racing from everybody. Quantum taking...
my voice possible at the end of this, I can guarantee you that one.
So Quantum, he's got a nice wee gap to Psycho in second place. Bait, Lick, Potsy, Band, Trin, it's pretty much just the train all the way down. You have to go down.
All these guys trying to get the jump. There's a slow moving
That's
front
Lick.
of the car. That is Lick. Lick has absolutely had a horrendous restart. Now Potsy going around the outside of Baitmate of 200. Now Bandcamp's trying to follow him through as well, Jacob. This could get spicy.
This could get very spicy, and Band breaks a little bit later there. And Baitmate will take 4th there. T-Mac just falling behind only F1. Somebody did get damaged from that contact with Lick, and I'm not sure who it was. I just saw a wing sort of just fly off there, but T-Mac right on only F1. Yeah.
Slipstream fest. Yeah, as you're saying, T-Mac now this battle for 9th place. Look around the outside one. Surely not. Surely not. No, not quite. Just doesn't quite have the downforce in these F2 cars. Only F1 will hold that position for now. But as well ahead of them, Trin getting very close to the back of Lick in that battle for 6th place. Bearcamp as well, trying to hold it on. Lick gets on the grass out of the final corner. That's going to open the door for Trin. Goes to the inside. DRS open for all of these drivers, of course, so we finally get our gaps back with it for drag race. For this 6th place between the UNI Virtuosi car and the Bremer of Trin and Lick, respectively. Potsy now on Psycho as well into turns 1 and 2. Now Potsy up into the runners-up spot, now trying to chase down Quantum Effect as well. As well on the premise. Ron the premise spinning around at the exit of turn 2. It's Lick. He's able to, I don't know how he's kept that car running, but there is very little front wing on that Bremer.
That's very unfortunate there. He may have been the moment damaging again there, but no, it's him down to 16th and pretty much out of the running. He was in a very good spot, up in about 5th or 6th, and just started getting swallowed up there. But looking further ahead, Trin, yeah, right on big, on Band here, coming for a second Digner. Just trying to get something. He's got a nice run, can't do much about it, or can he? He's forcing the issue, try to go on the outside for the hairpin.
Yeah, but there's a lot of grip around the outside, Jacob. That's the thing. Just the camber angle means you can get on power so much earlier. And that is exactly what Trin has done. He's now got the inside for 209. He's going to make that move easily past the I don't even know what car that is.
That's a high-tech.
High-tech, but he's coming back. The Mazda Spin car. Bandcamp. Not quite. Again, he's braking so much earlier for Spoon than all the drivers he's fighting. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or just being sure not to take anyone's, rear tyres and ruin his front wing. But that has opened the door to only F1 in the other UNI Virtuosi car. 2.5 tenths now into the gap and gaining because of that slipstream, Jacob.
Yeah, Quantum, 3 seconds for corner cutting there.
He goes for it. He goes for it. Chops Band off. Band has to take the apex curbing. He isn't going to be too happy with that one as the old Dragon is one of the... oh, it's Quantum. Quantum's an issue.
Yeah, he's lost an end plate there. I saw something fly up on the just on my end, but no, wow. And he's down to 13th. I'm just stunned. I have no idea what happened there. Must have been the triangle coming out. But it's very unfortunate. Potsy takes the lead. Psycho in second, Trin in third. And only F1.
Mate.
He does hold fifth.
Yeah, mate trying to make his way past as well, Jacob. But 1.1 second gap between the second, third, and fourth, and then we have another quartet of cars behind them. Big Al trying to get past Band as well at the moment.
Oh, Trin tried to make a move on the inside of the first Digna. That's very ambitious. But Trin really wants to get past Psycho here because he is holding him up. Back to the wee moment!
What a catch.
Yeah.
What a catch, but meanwhile ahead of the Trin, and so he's taking the inside curve in this now. Psycho just leaving exactly a car's width, and Trin gets a little squirrely out of the exit. He's able to slot right back in, get a bit more of that slipstream. Now, who is going to be more confident going into sprint? Is it going to be Psycho? Is it going to be Trin? We'll find out in a few moments' time. It looks like Psycho able to hold on. Baymate trying to get the best run he can out of Spirit Curve. It's all about this exit here, ladies and gentlemen. Only F1 and Bearcat not too far behind as well. Neither is Big Al. Now Trin on the inside for 130 on that left-hand side as well. He's now made the move past the Psycho. He's not tucking back into that slipstream. I don't know if that's a mistake on his part. Baymate up the inside. No, not quite. He thinks better of it, thankfully. But look at the run from F1.
Oh no!
It's contact between the two. Oh my goodness!
And he's flipped! The Universe Roasty just flipped multiple times, and I'm sorry, the camera just spazzing out a little bit there.
Oh my goodness, what a incident we have witnessed here.
Wow, and that's only F1 out. So what happened there, Bait had to back out, but because he was going so slow, only F1 tried to go on the outside of Bait, but it was just too quick to like not react to Bait moving to the outside, and that was a massive incident. And Bait has dropped a couple of spots as well, but he's still in 7th at least. But wow, ladies and gentlemen, wow.
That has got to be one of the most violent crashes I've seen on this game so far. I've seen a few in my time, both on track and in the commentary booth, Jacob, but that one's definitely up there.
That was insane. It's always at the start of the game cycle we get the crazy ones. I remember last game we had Apollo Pepsi roll it in Australia as well. It's always
yes, and I think Kunai had the best reaction to that one. I think the clip's still around somewhere. Might have to find it if any of the mods or admins in the chat there. But DRS now re-enabled. We only had a virtual safety car for that crash, surprisingly. I don't know how that wasn't upgraded to a full safety car. But nevertheless, the stewards thought, no, we're fine. The marshals have got this.
Yeah, exactly.
And, all these guys combined now, trying to make up a few positions. Currently in 8th place, but doesn't quite get the run that he wants out of the hairpin.
Yeah, Combine's run a bit under the radar this race. He's currently in 8th. Bait's just fallen quite a lot. He's got some in-plate damage, so he's really suffering right now. Trin's just going to be working on that gap to Potsy. It was a few seconds now, it's just 2.3. But he should hold that gap, Potsy, but we'll see what happens. 5 laps to run.
Yeah, just keeping a close eye on Combine as well as Anocat, both of them in the slipstream of the dams of Big Al in front of them. Combine having the lift. I think you can't really take that far. There's still the carbon fiber of the Euro Virtuosica on that left-hand side of the track from only F1. So sad to see his debut go out like this, but he's definitely proven that he's got a lot of speed, at least in these F2 cars. Speaking of a lot of speed, T-Mac up the inside of Van with the DRS assistance into turn 1, now up into 4th.
It's a great pass there. Just somebody in chat sad about TF3 not being streamed.
Ali as well went side by side with Mika in turn 1. Not as easy as T-Mac and Ben, but Ali able to get the move done as well. So very nicely done from him. He's now up into 9th place. So only, but crucially for him, only the top 8 get points in the sprint race. So Potsy will be currently sitting, actually I have to check the fastest lap. He does have it with 1 minute 42.119. One of the only drivers to get in the 42s. The only other driver, well, is the driver behind him. That is Trin with a 142.9. But yeah, so he will be currently, I believe, getting 17 points for 15th for the win, 2 for fastest lap, and then it goes down to 1 point for 8th place, currently held by Combine. But for these mid-pack points finishes, Jacob, they're still going tooth and nail. Big Al trying to get in there as well. T-Max on the grass, going out of 209.
He's kept it.
Control it.
He's kept it. And that's not bad there. Yeah, just running out into spur, and he's lost a place to Band as well. Don't think he'll have damage. He didn't hit anything, so that's fine.
There's another one to Ando.
That's Ando as well, so Tim will fall down to 7th, although he might try to contest this, but good luck.
No, surely,
Yeah.
surely not. Oh, yeah, he's tried it. He backed down and was like, no, I'm going to try it. Now inside for Casio Triangle. We've seen this gone wrong before. He locks the rear slightly going into the chicane. But they're able to keep it nice and clean. T-Mac able to stay ahead of that ART, but I don't know how well it's going to go. Bandcamp is sitting duck now, doesn't have the DRS. T-Mac is gaining, he's gaining. Is he going to go for it? He has a look. He puts his nose in up the inside of the turn one. Bandcamp leaves him the space, but it looks like Band might be able to. He's carrying that wind damage on that right-hand side as well, Jacob, but Band isn't giving T-Mac an inch into the S's. Wow, what great, amazing defensive driving we're seeing from the old fox that is Bandcamp, one of the original, I believe it's one of the founders of AFR and whatever the league was called. Before that, T-Mac getting very flirtatious with the apex curve of Dunlop. We don't want to do that too many times, Jacob, but it looks like Band is able to hold on, and that means that Big Al is able to maybe pull out a gap, but T-Mac, he's really just putting him under so much pressure at the moment. Is he going to go inside, outside? Band to the inside of the track. But it looks like T-Mac trying to get the best exit that he can to try and make another attack.
Yeah, T-Mac all over Band, and rightfully so, but Band is just obviously not giving him an inch, like you say. Didn't have DRS earlier, had to really pull up the stops to hold everybody off there, and Band's doing a really good job. Bit deep into Spoon there, trying to get that breaking point right. He hasn't quite gotten it tonight, but that's the T-Mac get right on him, and yeah, a bit of a squirrely exit there, but T-Mac will still get a slipstream.
He's gaining inside for 130. No, he lifts a little bit to just try and stay back just a little bit longer. I think he might try and just wait for that DRS. It doesn't look like he's going to try and move for a lunge. It looks like Androcat's spinning before the Casio.
And it's on his own there. He just got a bit out of shape coming out of 130R. He can gather that up without touching the wall, hopefully. And that's very unfortunate. He was running so well, but T-Mac now side by side.
Oh, it's 3 wide. Combines it as well, Jacob.
Oh no, Band does back out. Combined is on the inside of turn 1 here. T-Mac, does he force it?
He's going to get 2 on, a little bit of a squeeze onto the curb.
And he does. Wow. That's an amazing move there from Combined. Wow. And Ali is now into this as well. Don't discount Ali in this. And Combined is now into 5th from nowhere. So incredible.
It's a tap though from T-Mac. It's a 10-7. Oh no, you don't do that. Oh no, don't do this. Please,
oh, no.
Come on, please, no. One of you has to back out. They're not doing it. They're going side by side in the 2 techniques. This is incredible.
Oh, that's incredible. Thanks for the follow, Railing F1. Wow, that was incredible. Good racing from the both of them there. Combined does hold 5th for now, but T-Mac again all over the driver ahead. And he takes the inside line here for the hairpin. Combined needs to get that good exit. Does he get it? No, they're just staying alongside each other right now. He'll be on the inside of 200. That becomes the outside into Spoon. And who can take the spot here? It looks like Combined's just slightly better here. Yep. And T-Mac sitting up for the better run.
They're setting up for the better run out of Spoon because it's a long flat out section towards 130R and then the braking zone of the Casio Triangle. We'll just see you run on board with well, looks like Ali as well, having a little bit of a look at Bandcamp. We're seeing the power of the slipstream as T-Mac gaining about 2/10 now. Ali looking for around the outside, but oh, he's in the curve, just like everyone has.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
but he's gotten away with it.
And that's the thing, there was no, like, the curb just spits you out and then you're done, that's it. Looks like, does he have damage? I don't think he does.
He is so lucky.
That's incredibly lucky there. Now, looking further ahead, Psycho has been taken by Big Al there for 3rd.
Yeah, so Al now up into the podium places. Unfortunate to see Psycho drop out on a podium, but he's still in a very strong position of 4th on the penultimate lap of this race. We haven't really talked about that much, but there's only 2 laps left.
Wow, really?
In this sprint race. Yeah, we want more of this.
That's incredible.
Let's keep going.
That's great stuff there. T-Mac.
Team round 2? Surely not. Surely not again. Guys, come on, please. My heart can't take this. T-Mac pushing Combined through. He's going to try and make a move in the second deck that can't quite get the front end to get hooked up in time. He runs wide on the curb and that's his... Alright, you win this time.
Wow.
You win this time.
That was incredible. He was really hurrying him along. Don't know if Combined was having any issues because he was just slowing down everywhere. But T-Mac just having to pretty much hold himself together there in 6th place. you'll still be wanting to make an attack on him. He's only got 1.5 laps, well, 1 and a bit laps to do it, really. Looking further ahead, Potsy, Trin, Big L, their places look pretty much solidified. So we're just looking down at the lower point spots as Quantum picks up a 3-second time penalty.
Well, you talk about the lower point spots. So how about 1 point? Because Ali has gotten a great exit out of Spirit, and he's really in that ART of Mika at a rate of knots. Now about half a second between the two. T-Mac though still combined as well. Can't forget about that one. He's still flirting with that curb, but I don't understand why he's doing that.
So scary.
What's happened.
Big L, fastest lap, 141.9, as we have started the last lap of the race here. And T-Mac on the inside here on the straight. He's got plenty of speed. He'll definitely get that done. Combined won't really have a response for this. Tries to switch back. Doesn't quite get it though. Just not up far enough.
Well, he is carrying some wing damage. I don't know how long he's been doing that.
Oh, what? I didn't even notice.
But he is missing... Yeah, me neither. He's missing that right end plate on that Charu's racing car. Well, so he's done very well to sustain the pace that he has. But I'm afraid that plus the dirty air might make things a little bit different unless T-Mac makes a mistake. And he's made a mistake here. No, not again!
No, surely not for the Deckners. Even combined, we'll know better than this. Yep. I don't think he can do much with T-Mac here unless T-Mac makes a mistake here. Otherwise, he's just risking an accident for sure. But right now, he's got a 2.7 second gap to manage behind him. But Ban has a penalty. I only just noticed this.
Yeah, Ban picked one up at the virtual safety car for ignoring yellow flags, if memory serves me right. And that with the wing damage he's also got on that front right. I don't know how everyone keeps losing their front right end plates, but that is missing on that high-tech car. Meanwhile, Ali, 3/10 on the last lap. Potsy will come across to win this race in a few moments' time as he just makes his way into the Casio Triangle. So if you want to give him some screen time, you can do that as he's about to cross the line. But I'm looking at this final points position. Oh, Ali, 2/10 in it.
Yes, not much between them. Potsy does take the chicken flag and first place. It's cut back to Ali though. Yep, this is the main battle.
Inside, now outside to further Casio Triangle. Early on the brakes, tries to get the better run. Mika tries to go defensive. He needs a great exit here. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Does he have the traction? Ali, he does, but he goes on the grass and he's just blown it. He will be out of the points, but Bandcamp with this penalty means that he will be firmly in that points finishing place.
And that was very good defensive driving from Mika, not really letting Ali just sort of have enough room to go on the outside. Although I think Ali may have been a bit ambitious trying to get on the outside and just went a bit too far. But anyway, that's still good driving from the both of them there, and both of them picking up the last couple of points. So Potsy, Trin, and Psycho taking the top three. And is that Nemo, the last turn, just sort of limping along? Just triggered a yellow flag there. Just waiting on the last couple of drivers to cross the start-finish line here. And that was quite an amazing race, wasn't it, Mika? Far out.
Yeah, well, definitely got the blood pressure, I believe. You know, the heart rate going. I'm sure the blood pressure inside some of the cockpits of the drivers. I might be biased here. I mean, T-Mac, yeah, driver of the day.
Agreed.
I mean, some insane battles there with combined YouTuber, especially going into the Degners. But, you know, I might be a bit biased here, but I'm really glad to see that South African flag there on the podium. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, Psycho had a pretty solid drive, considering people around him had pretty good pace. You know, he held it together pretty long. That VS in the middle did help, but great drive from him. And great driving from everyone, actually. Relatively clean racing, very close. Probably a bit questionable, some of the moves at some points, but it's been pretty clean as well.
Well, that's what we want to see. Like, we want to see, you know, hard drivers. We have some of those personalities on these grids that, you know, that will go for that, you know, maybe less than optimal move. That, you know, the move that we aren't expecting, because if we're not expecting it and looking from the outside, the guys in the cockpit surely won't either. And that element of surprise can really make dividends in your pursuits of those higher positions.
Indeed. So, final results here. Potsy taking the win. Trin, his lap isn't highlighted for me, but he does have the fastest lap, it looks like. But he does take second place and the 2 points. Psycho in third place as well with another 10 points. T-Mac, great battles from him. Big L, combined, Mika, Ali, Bandit, Ando take out the top 10. Ali with the last points place. And just missing out on everything, obviously, Band, Ando, Wahid, Nemo, Quantum, and Lights. With Baitmate only F1 with the massive crash. Lick and Keeper also retiring.
So Trin wins the weekend with 39 points, 35 for Potsy, and then Big Al 21 is your top three. Psycho, I believe that there was fourth as well. Very, very nicely done from him as well, and hopefully that's a sign of things to come in the F1 series.
Indeed, so great racing from them all around. And it's been a wonderful night. So we'll be back. I'm not sure if we're streaming the next set of races this Sunday on here, but if not, we'll see you next Friday. I believe we'll be at, if I can check it super quickly. Where are you? Stalling. We'll be at Hungary next week in the F2s, and next Sunday we'll be starting in Bahrain for the start of Season 7. Don't miss that for sure. 8th of August, mark your calendars, all that. It's going to be a wonderful time. So, for tonight, I've been Jacob Meister. Mikhail's joined me as well, and have a wonderful night, everyone.